Welcome back to Mik'd Up. I guess we don't even need to have the conversation. We already had the conversation. We didn't record it, so y'all missed out. Alex Milazzo is in studio. We're going to have this conversation all over again on air. He was actually just talking about Lloyd.
Left, yeah.
Yeah, he's just gone. He was actually talking about Lloyd. Lloyd was texting him, telling him where to go, and Lloyd started using these words that he likes to use that nobody else knows but him. And so he gave him a little bit of a vocabulary quiz coming in, so I apprciate you coming in the show. Welcome to the show. It's the first time on the show, right?
Yeah, it's the first time. I've always watched it.
I appreciate it.
I was fired up to get
Yeah,
that invite,
I'm fired
man.
up to have you. We had a big conversation off air just to kind of get to know. I mean, I know you a little bit. You caught us a little bit during COVID. So, a little backstory: during COVID, everything was shut down. Obviously, couldn't go anywhere to practice. We were back in from spring training, so we had to figure out how to get some work in. We had in my neighborhood, we had Kevin Gosman, Will Harris, and a couple other guys would need to throw bullpens, but we didn't have anybody that could catch them. We tried throwing it to a high school kid one time, and that did not go over very well. The ball was by the guy before. It was not good. We thought he was going to get hurt. So I asked Milazzo if he could come in. He was like, yeah, no problem. Gosman and Will took care of him. He comes in. He's catching bullpens out in the backyard. I asked him if it was tough. He was like, no, these guys are easy, bro. Just put the glove up and you just catch it.
Yeah, it's money, man.
It was money. You kind of get that same feel with Paul Skeens.
Yeah, so like me and my dad had this talk literally the other day. Like catching those guys as a freshman and then catching Paul Skeens. And I've caught a lot of great guys since I've been here. That is the most big league arm I've ever caught since being in college or catching anybody, man.
Right. Skeens you're talking about.
Skeens.
Yeah.
From a mental standpoint to the pure physical makeup, his ability, and like I think LSU fans might take it for granted why he's here and what they're getting out of him every Friday night, man. It's just unreal.
You talked about how there's a lot of preparation that goes into the game, not only in the player side of practicing and like the physical work, but like the mental side of it, right? You have Wes does his deal, obviously, with the pitching staff. Jay does his deal with the entire team, trying to mix and match, use the matchups, figure out who's best in what situations. But as a catcher, you do a lot of the same stuff, right? You talked about how you have a book and you have notes on every pitcher that you have to catch or interact with. And, go into the detail on like your preparation as you prepare to catch the guys that you're about to catch.
Yeah, I mean, just going off like the mental preparation deal, it starts in the fall with this team and under Jay. Like we got multiple mental coaches coming in, building team chemistry, and also working on your own stuff, mental game. I think that's one of the biggest things that transformed my offensive, I guess you could say, numbers or whatever you want to say, just approach, everything, was kind of hammering down a mental routine. Y'all both played at Alex Box when there's 13,000 people there. You're facing a guy on Friday night throwing 97, like that heart's jumping. And it starts before I even step onto the on-deck circle, man. I'm taking deep breaths, like slowing my heart rate down. And it's different for guys. Like some guys got to get going. Yep. For me, it's slowing down in that box. And like you can watch me and you can follow like from on-deck circle. It's once I get on deck, it's slow breaths in between each pitches, going through my one-handed drills, my feels, and then knowing myself. Like that's something we talk about, like knowing who you are and what you have to do to get ready. So if you watch me walking from the on-deck circle, it's super slow walk, and it's like I got my chest poked out, like I'm confident.
Holding the barrel of the bat.
Holding the barrel of the bat. I dig in the dirt. I look at the pitcher. Then I'm looking at the foul pole, focal point. As soon as I step back in, it's close my eyes, deep breath, and let's go.
I love that. Is the book that you keep on the pitchers, is that something new for you, or is that something that you've always done? And how easy is it for, I guess, the pitchers to be able to buy into understanding that exactly when they're right and exactly when they're wrong and what they're doing when they're on either side of, and for them to get back on track when you speak to them about those things?
Yeah, so, man, I've always taken pride in catching, like the defensive side of the game. Like obviously growing up,
it shows in your game, dude.
Yeah, obviously growing up, everybody wants to hit, and I did all the way growing up, hit And you'd go in the cages, hit for 4 hours at night in high school. But what I was also doing is putting in the time defensively. So in something, when I came in as a freshman, y'all know Coach Maneri, he takes pride on the defensive side of things. And he was hard on me from day one, man. Like dude, we'd be standing. My first bullpen I ever caught was Marceau, and
that's a good one to catch, though.
It was good, but it's filthy.
He's got stuff going all over the place too,
it's
man.
a bullpen. Nobody's in the stands. It's like it's hot as crap in like November, whatever, man.
Just happy to be here.
Maneri plops a chair down right next to me in the bullpen, and I'm just he's going to town on me.
Yeah, he's wearing you.
He's working me.
First off, you're wondering about, hey,
are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're supposed to be this great high school catcher coming into this program, and this is what I'm getting. And so, dude, like
you got the same thing coming.
Yeah, it was like the first day, and then the next day I catch Cole Henry on the field, and like nobody was standing in, but they're throwing on the real game mound. He was right there on the little cutout of the home plate circle, dude, just hammering me, trying to get me to mess up. And sure enough, like first pitch Cole's throw is like above my head and it clinks off my glove. I was like, oh, it's happening right now. But at the end of the day, like he did that, and I appreciate what he did for me, man. Like when you got in front of 26,000 people against Texas in Minute Maid, it was. Ain't nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I've gone through worse. I handled Coach Maneri when he was up my butt, you know. But like he also he never let me take one pitch off. Right. It was from fall games to in games. He never let me take one pitch off, and Coach Johnson's been the same way.
That, yeah.
So it's like taking pride in those things, and so that's where it kind of started. And one of my biggest things when I was going through a slump. My sophomore year, COVID freshman year, like I've never hit that bad in my life. Right. Like it's a forsaken topic in my household to even talk about that year.
Don't bring that year up.
Yeah, we don't talk about it, man. Like my mom played college softball and stuff, and she's the one who made me a catcher. Like, and she used to BP to me and crap. And dude, she's one of my toughest critics. She's probably biggest competitor in my household, and like we literally don't talk about it, but one of the things we talked about was building that wall up between offense and defense. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what's happening here, you might not have gotten that 2 RBI hit, god dang it, you're gonna save 2 runs right here.
Absolutely. Love that.
You know, if you can throw out 7 guys in a game, let's throw out 7 guys, because that next base hit, that guy's not getting in. Or if there's a guy at third and you can block 5 balls in the dirt, do that. So it was building a wall between that to where it's like whatever happens here isn't going to affect me here. If anything, it's going to like kind of motivate me to do even more. Yeah. And so that's where that kind of came from. So me knowing each and every guy on that staff, like we were just talking about, I think that's so crucial for me. And not only for me, but for that guy out there, more importantly. Right. Yeah. Like I need to know his tendencies. I need to know how he works. Like, if he's a guy, I got to amp up. You know, there's certain guys I'm nonstop talking to. After every out, I'm walking in front of that plate, and I'm giving them whether it's a confidence deal, reassurance, it doesn't matter. Or there might be a guy where with the new pitch clock, I know that clock's not starting until he gets the ball in his hand and he's back on the rubber. So I'm going to walk a little bit, take my time, and let him slow the game down. And I think that's something so important for everybody.
Fucking love catchers.
I think people forget. They don't. That's the stuff that people don't see, right?
I say like, that. Like they don't even notice.
If you haven't played it and you haven't been in that situation, you hadn't been in the heat of the battle. Like people don't understand how important. Because we talked about that before the year. I was like, I think the biggest issue with the pitch clock is going to be
speeding the game up.
When the game speeds up and the guy needs to calm it down, right? To be able to control their breaths, control their mindset, control their heart rate. But sometimes you don't have the ability because of the pitch clock you have to rush. And, like, the fact that you understand that and see it, like, that's huge.
Yeah, you know, someone else that's really good at it is Jordan Thompson. Mm-hmm. Like, you only have so many coach visits that coach can take out there. Yeah. Like, it's –
I don't know if the man's won a challenge yet.
I don't want my coaches worrying about when they have to tell me to go talk to a guy or whatnot. And Jordan Thompson's really good at it, too. Like, you'll see him come in. Yep. And like, hey, slow the game down. I couldn't imagine my freshman year having a pitch clock, and it's like oh crap, I gotta get back in the box. Oh crap,
Yeah.
you're already
Right.
sweating
Yeah.
back there. Like just having the ability to slow the game down. And I know when I got like a freshman out there on the mound, like it can get fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've played in front of the crowds. I grew up going to games here, so like just being more of a veteran guy, I guess you say, which you see across the board on this team, is like helping those guys slow the game down and them not feeling like, hey, one mistake's the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like a coach on the field.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you try to be like that. Coaches can only say so much.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like like y'all probably could relate to this, like coming from an older guy or somebody that's been through what you're going through, like you can relate to it so much more.
So when and I don't want to talk a lot about the struggles, right? But like,
No, we can talk about
but
it.
you went through.
I ain't struggling no more.
You went through your deal, right? You went through it. Then you had COVID, and then you had. Well, I guess you went through. Was after COVID? Was it after COVID?
Yeah, my true freshman
Yeah.
year was like 16 games COVID.
Yeah.
And then you come back, and then you have this year. Then you're not the starter, right? You're the second catcher. Brady Neal's basically catching majority of the year. Young kid, doing well, doing fine. He goes down. They insert you in the game, and all the whole time through, Jay said, "I have confidence in Alex. I know if I can put him back there, he's going to be fine." He's made a lot of improvements on the offensive side of the baseball, and then boom, you get your opportunity. How did you manage that as far as like the mental side of it goes and the way that you keep yourself up? Because we talked about, I asked you if you're having fun. You said, this is the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. Hayden Travinsky said the exact same thing, and y'all are kind of in the same situation. He had a pretty good year last year swinging the bat. Both of y'all kind of saw the playing time kind of diminish a little bit, but y'all both said the same thing. How do you get to that point, and like what goes into that?
Well, me and Hayden came in the same class, man, and like I freaking love our routine we have. Like I was telling y'all before we got on there.
He's a character too. Both of y'all have a
Oh,
little bit.
dude, like yeah, we have a blast.
He got the
Like,
he got the Jack Park.
me and him are working together for 30. You give us an hour in the day to work together with Coach Josh Jordan, like. He's got to stay on us to get work done.
Here for an hour, got 30 minutes done.
Yeah, like our routine right now is, so we hit BP, we do all that stuff, pregame meal, hit BP. As soon as we come in from BP, we hit the showers, get dressed, we go down the indoor. I got my phone with me. We're blasting Bob Marley pregame, going through our stretching, like pregame catching work. We're blasting Bob Marley, like cutting up, having a good time. And so are the position players. Like, we're dancing in the locker room, doing all kinds of crazy crap, dude. And, like, everybody's just loose.
Yeah.
You know, you're going in the game loose. It's not you're not sitting there 5 hours before the game biting your nails or, like, you're not even thinking about the game. Like, you're focused on it.
Right.
But you're loose.
Yeah.
And, like, you're having fun, man. Like, we're cutting up in the dugout, dancing in the dugout after we score a run. That's how the game should be.
Yep.
Like, you shouldn't be sitting in the dugout sweating or worrying. Nobody ever hits the panic button on this team. Like, we went down Sunday, and you don't see at-bats changing, guys swinging at anything, you know. Guys trying to do too much. It's just like my dad used to say this when he coached us at football. You just start wearing on teams. Like, you start chopping away on that tree. You take your axe out there and you just start chopping away. Eventually that thing's going to fall, you know, and you just start pounding pitchers and you just start pounding that bullpen, and then eventually that other team's going to fall.
Jay?
For you, so we've had a couple of Orms come in here and talk about him, but the arrival of Wes Johnson, how has that upgraded the pitching staff, and how has that helped your game and those guys' game as well?
Yeah. First of all, he's
that
like
says a lot.
yeah. You look up any pitching video on YouTube or something, Wes Johnson's on it.
Yeah.
Like, considered one of the best. Yeah. And I didn't even think it was possible to get a big league coach to come back to college baseball. First of all, like, but I guess you're at LSU, you can do that, you know.
That's it.
I guess Scott Woodward doesn't care about that much. He just wants to win, man.
Who do we need? How do we need?
Which is great.
Like, I think the Twins. He was with the Twins.
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
number one pitching staff.
They were in first place in the division
Yeah.
when he decided to come back to LSU.
Yeah,
When
like,
he took
that's
the job at that point,
huge. And then, so he comes in and it's immediate development. Like, I think first pin I caught back was Skeens and Grant Taylor, and I see him roll out this mound, and it's got like all kinds of data in this mound they're throwing on, and the West has TVs all over the dang place. I can barely see the ball because there's so much technology in the dang place. He forgets I got to even see the ball to catch it. Well, I mean, dude, like what he's done for a lot of those guys has been unreal to watch from where they started day one. Like Griffin Herring, day one, I caught him in the pen in the pitching lab, and he kind of was all over the place. And then it was like kind of had some secondary pitches. Then you looked at what Wes has done for him now, and like some of his terminology he speaks to him and the maturity like he talks to some of these guys with, and it's just been unreal. And for me too, it's been a lot of fun working with him, talking about how we're going to pitch guys, what am I looking for, and it's I mean, being older, like you already have an idea, and then getting a guy like him that's done it in the big leagues, it's a game changer.
People talk about a lot. Like, I mean, first of all, the team's super talented. Not just offensively. Offensively, you know what you're going to get. Pitching staff coming into the season, I thought that they were going to be as deep and as good as they have ever been, maybe at LSU, right? You had Skeens. You had Ty Floyd, who finished the season off strong last year, throwing mid-90s. Thatcher Hurts coming in with all this hype. Christian Little came in with a lot of hype. You had Grant Taylor, who's supposed to be a first-rounder. You had Garrett Edwards, who was going to kind of emerge. He started to emerge. And then you had Chase Short, who's throwing 100 miles an hour as a freshman, right? Like, you have all of these arms. Well, then the season happens. Like, every season, injuries happen. Grant Taylor goes down. Garrett Edwards goes down. Chase Shores goes down. And some of these guys are kind of struggling a little bit to kind of find their way. And then you have to go back to the – people talk, the depth of the bullpen isn't good. I would argue and say I think the depth of the bullpen is better than it's ever been because you have all these guys that have gone down, and you still have guys who are talented and capable. They just may not have been the guys that you expected to rely on right now because they're young. How do you manage the young guys in the bullpen right now and get them ready? Because let's be real. Let's be honest. The season's going on right now, but the real season starts in 4 weeks when you get to the postseason play, because y'all are going to be hosting a regional. You're going to be hosting super regionals, and the ultimate goal is Omaha. Yeah, of course you want to win the SEC and do all those things, but right now you've put yourself in a position where, okay, we need to do what we need to do, get these guys ready to get to the postseason. How have you helped manage that? Obviously you have Wes and Jay doing their thing, but it's important for the catchers and the guys to help these pitchers work and these young guys kind of develop. What have you done to help that?
So, like, what you just listed was like 4 dudes that got hurt.
Right.
Like, dudes.
First rounders, probably.
Like,
well, top 3 rounders.
Elite stuff in college
Yes.
baseball.
Yep.
So what the message has been is like, hey, we're not going to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves and like beat our head against the wall. Like, yeah, it happened. Yeah, it sucks. I feel bad for those guys because I mean, those are like my brothers. Those guys I'm around every day.
Right.
And we're there for them every step of the way, like rehabbing. Me and Milazzo were in the training room this past summer rehabbing knees together. And it's tough. It sucks, dude. It's a grind. Then you see a guy like Javen Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Coach has said it a bunch. Like, Coach literally told him, hey, we'll see you in 2024.
Yeah, I can't believe he's pitching. He's throwing almost 3 innings in an outing now.
He threw in the regional for Oregon against us, had, like, unreal numbers and stuff. And by the way, that team started out like how you were saying, like that team that made it to Supers, we were 1-9, and then you just get hot at the right time.
Right.
But like back to your question, after losing 4 dudes, like we're not sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. It's literally next man up. And when you have that thought process and like you watch the work these guys put in with Wes Johnson in the pitching lab, and you watch what they're doing on an everyday basis, it's tough not to get behind guys like that.
You feel like they're going to get better? Like, they've gotten better. Obviously, you've seen it. But, like, as they continue to pitch, right, as Gavin Guidry continues to have more opportunity in the back end of the bullpen, as Ackenhausen throws a lot more coming back from injury because he was great before he got hurt, as, Bryce Collins has more high-leverage situations, as Thatcher starts to throw maybe more out of the back end of the bullpen, because I've talked about this, and you don't have to tell me what the plan is, right? But, you losing those guys that we had talked about, that's 4 power righties that you've lost. I feel like we're as good as we can be lefty out the pen. You don't have that power swing and miss stuff from the righty out the pen anymore, but Thatcher Hurd, if he's going to be out the back of the bullpen, you potentially have that ability with him, right? So Do you see these guys like continue to have more opportunity and be able to get better to where when it does come time for SC tournament, regional, super regional, you feel like, okay, these guys are going to be ready to go out there and do what they need to do at the end of the game?
Yeah, I think it was Friday. No, it was Saturday night. You saw Thatcher coming out the pin. That's like he's got elite stuff.
Yeah.
Like you facing him in the fall and early spring, that dude has elite stuff.
When he's right, he's right. When he's wrong, what goes wrong with him?
I'm not Thatcher Hurts.
Right.
I don't want to answer it for him, but like.
From your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it could be just like trying to maybe do too much,
Right.
nibbling at the zone or whatever, but that dude has elite stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was back there, I came in and caught the 9th inning Saturday, and when I was catching him, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, looks good.
This
He's
fastball's freaking on. Like, it is riding through the zone. It's not a fastball. It's just like, damn, it's like, it's
Yeah.
coming through me.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those fastballs when you catch it's like,
It's
damn.
heavy.
Yeah, it's a heavy fastball, and he's got great crap to go with it, too.
Yeah.
Elite stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people might have looked at, even like you look at Sunday, like what some of our pitchers did, and you could easily look at that and be like, oh, man, that wasn't a good whatever. No, it was.
Right.
Like, look at Christian Little, what he did in the
He
first
grinded.
couple innings. He grinded his freaking butt off, and I was grinding with him. And that was my message. Coach was like, hey, empty the tank right here. And that was my message to every guy that came in. I think we threw like 7 guys. I was like, empty the tank right here on this batter. Let's go. Like,
I love that.
then you get to the next guy. We're not worried about how many runs are scored, how many guys are on base. Empty the tank right here. We're putting everything, all our eggs in this basket right here on this one guy. Then we'll move on to
Yeah,
the
we'll
next.
figure it out after that.
We'll figure it out later. Like, the offense is going to put up numbers. We got y'all.
Yeah.
And they bailed us. They bailed the offense out. We bailed them out, and that's how
how
a
it
team works. Like, when you have confidence in each and every guy. But back to what I was saying, like Christian Little, when you look at like TrackMan zone numbers, like you can see the true strike zone, then you see the borderline strike zone. The umpire behind me was very good. He had a true MLB zone, did not miss, equal for both sides.
Brian?
I think that's who it was.
Was that who it was?
Brian. On
He
Sunday.
had a true zone. Like, he did not miss very many pitches.
Brian's had I think he's been in a Futures game before.
Really?
I think he's yeah.
Dude, he had great zone, and like we had him last year at Vanderbilt. I had a great zone, but also at the same time, I was thinking in that first inning when I was catching, I was like, "Oh, all right, you give us that tight zone, and you stay consistent the whole game.
We're gonna score
It's
some
looking
runs.
good for our offense
Yeah.
too."
Yeah.
So I mean, for them to minimize damage in that, each guy coming in minimizing damage, like Christian, yeah, he might have walked some people, but I was catching, and it's like very small misses.
Yeah.
Like, a lot
Yeah.
of times that's going to get called. It just didn't get called that day.
Right.
But he competed his butt off, and then look at the guys that came in after him. It was the same thing. Like, it might have been for 2 batters, but
Right.
they did their job. Like, you look at Bryce Collins'
Mhm.
outing right there, and you might say, "Oh man, he walked 2 guys." Yeah, that's two of the hottest hitters on the weekend.
Right.
He didn't give in.
5 for 5
Right.
against
He didn't
teams.
give in, and then what happened right after that? He didn't give in to those 2 batters. They didn't swing the bat. They didn't hit the ball over the fence or whatever. They didn't hurt you. Here comes Coop, slams the door right there, and the rest is history
Yeah.
in that game. But like,
Yeah.
that was a big pitching performance by Bryce on 2 batters, not giving in, not deciding, hey, I'm just gonna hang this one right here.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, no, he competed his butt off too, even though it was 2
Picking up
walks.
each other. That's
Right.
the biggest thing.
Man, you talk about the next man up situation, and the name I'm about to mention now has got to be one of the most like just feel good stories to be around and watch him do his thing this year. Just knowing where he comes from, knowing his career here, and knowing what this year is for him. But talk about Kay Beloso and what he's able to do this year.
Yeah, I got a belly full of crawfish right now. We're just blowing some crawfish together.
Hey, his
dude.
dad can do. It was just y'all.
Yeah, it was just us. We had
I
a
love
couple
that.
guys over. Like, we were just hanging out off day, boiling some
Y'all
crawfish.
use that Beloso spice.
I don't know what we were using, but
I
they're
imagine.
freaking good. I'm stuffed, man. But no, that's a dude that's gonna be staying in my wedding. I'll be staying in his wedding. That's one of my closest friends. And man, before I even get to anything on the field, like what he's meant to me off the field.
Right.
He went through that knee injury, and like hated to see it for a guy like that who was starting that night. I was almost sick to my stomach, like playing,
Right.
knowing what was going on with him that night. But
Got a little too
Like-
sturdy.
Jesus.
Yeah, but like what he's done, the work he's put in to be able to come back and do what he's done, man, it's unbelievable. And like he was like literally a shoulder for me to lean on in this summer and throughout the whole season. Like going through the same injuries, missing the whole season really, and then going through rehab because rehab sucks.
Right.
Like
Terrible.
nobody likes going to it every day. You're doing the same crap over and over and over. Which shout out to our Corey Couture who was with us, like helping us, and Amanda was there too. But man, he's been nothing but awesome for me. And then on the field, like I just smile every time he comes up to bat. Like that's not a guy that sat around and complained. Nobody on this team has ever done that about what position they're in. It's like we're all competitors. We all want to be on the field playing. Nobody wants to sit the bench. Like nobody. I never seen a guy playing at LSU say, "Man, I'm happy sitting the bench." Like everybody wants to play. That's why you play the game. You want to be the guy coming up in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, getting a big hit. And like when we were at Ole Miss Sunday, and I was swinging the bat well, but we needed a home run right there. Coach pinch hits Travinsky, and I wasn't like, "Oh my God, he done." No, man. First thing I walked up to that guy, "Hey, let's go. It's your time, baby. Let's go." And he did it.
Yeah.
And, like, the events leading up to that was funny.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this dude's contemplating if he should wear the sunglasses to the play or not. And he walks up there with the most swag.
Mustache, sunglasses.
Freaking hits it. That's
Great pimp job.
Oh, my
Great
God.
bat drop.
He's the best at it.
Yeah.
He's
It's
the
a great
best.
bat. He's a big
He went
motherfucker.
full
But
Jack
yeah.
Parkman.
Like,
It's a large human.
that's what makes this team so awesome, man. It's like you look at some of the guys that were on the bench or still are on the bench or back and forth, and it's like, holy crap, we got some talent. We got depth.
Yeah.
And then nobody's complaining about the position they're in. Nobody's, being a bad teammate and dragging guys down with them. Like something we talked about too in the fall was like everybody, this team, like you don't want arrows going each direction. Like when everybody's arrows going the same way, that's what you got right now. It's greatness is going to happen. And, like both those guys, all three of us, we weren't starting at the beginning of the year, and now we're playing, and like you don't sit around and sulk, you just compete, man. Yeah. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. You talked about wanting to be that guy, right? In that moment, get the big hit, make the big play. You were that guy on Sunday. 9-9, tie game, bottom of the 7th inning. You have the opportunity to go and drive the go-ahead run, and you go and you get the job done, right? After everything that you had been through in the last couple years leading up to that situation, to be in that situation, to be able to come through in that situation, that had to feel pretty good, huh?
Did you peek in the dugout?
What's that?
Did you peek in the dugout to see if Travinsky was getting the sunglasses on?
Oh, man, I wasn't even worried about it. I was so locked in. I was like, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it, man. And then when you come through in something like that and you look at the teammate.
Better.
Teammates are freaking going crazy in the dugout. Crunk ain't dead's probably playing on the boombox or whatever.
Boombox is back?
I think it's kind of made a resurrection this weekend. Like we were playing, guys are dancing in the freaking dugout.
I love that.
Going crazy, man. And like when I looked at the dugout, I just lost one of those blackout type moments where you're beating your chest, screaming.
No doubt.
Yeah, it fires me up, dude.
Dude, we're getting to the point in the year where you got 3 SEC weekends left. School's almost out. I can remember
Favorite time of the year.
This is the best time of the year, and I can remember watching the game on Sunday at home, and they pan to the grandstand behind home plate, and it's probably the 7th or the 8th inning, and there's a ton of people still in the standing room only spot, right? This is the time of year you play for. And this is, in your career that you've been here, the best team that y'all have had, and you know what this place is like when it gets to that point of the year and how the fans react to it and what kind of engagement you get. How much are you looking forward to, like that school's out feeling and it's only ball? Like, how much are you looking forward to
Let me tell you something. I'm so tired of stressing about finance. Dude, I've been hammering Shark Tank on TikTok, learning all this crap. That's how I passed my first exam in finance this year is from Shark Tank. Every bit I knew on the test was Shark Tank. I try to know it. I'm just terrible at math or whatever, dude. But like, when you tell me, finance is behind you. You've graduated, and you can just go play ball. Like, fires me up.
Yeah.
Fires me
That's
up.
what I was telling Lloyd. I said the best moments in 2009 that I had outside of winning the national championship was whenever you got past that point of like finals in school, and you have that month of like, oh, we're at home, we're hosting all these.
It's like
games
pro ball.
Like pro ball, except more off days.
Yeah.
So you finish the weekend series, you have that off day on Monday. What happens? You go practice and you got pool party. You go hang out at the pool with the boys. You go do whatever you got with the boys. You go practice, go to the pool with the boys. Like, you have the ability to like be just normal people for a little bit, like pro ball, and play, and then you go out there and you take care of business and you win. But you can only do that when you got a team full of guys who understand what they're trying to do, right? Not a team full of like young dudes who don't really know it. You got to have guys that, all right, we can go and have fun, but we know when to bring it back. And that's that was the best times that we had.
Yeah, like so like going into postseason baseball, like it's something I look forward to so much because I was a kid that grew up here. Right. Going to postseason games, like I remember there's two bad ones. I think Stony Brook and like Coastal Carolina. There's two bad ones.
Tough ones.
Yeah, like it's electric.
Yeah,
it is.
But
it's different.
At the same time, like just a little insight on the team and stuff. Like you got a lot of veteran guys on this team, and a lot of us have been playing together for 3-4 years together. So it means a lot to us. Like, some of us are like, man, every year, like you have guys coming back, but it's never the same team. It's never the same.
Never.
Right.
Never is. And we were talking about this on the bus ride back from Ole Miss. After that Sunday game at Ole Miss, we're riding the bus back, hammering some Domino's pizza in the back of the bus, and we just started, like, you know how bus talk is. Like, you're getting the best conversations.
Yep, it's the best.
And we were talking, we were like, man, I don't want this to end.
No.
Like, I know it's early, but, like, we're just sitting there talking about, like, dude, this team is special.
Yeah.
Outside of winning all that, like, this team is freaking special. Like, what we have going on in how close. Like, you look around that room, you look in each locker, and you're like, great guy, great guy, great guy, great guy, great guy, great guy.
And the superstars are those guys, right? Like, you have the veterans, you have the guys who are supposed to be the assholes are not. They're the opposite, right?
Great guys,
they're the best, right? And, like, that means a lot, right? And that's, you have to have it all.
Hey, that's something I look forward to, like, outside of the baseball aspect of it is, like, outside of school, like, being able to hang out with the guys every day.
Yep.
You know, like, we'll come into practice 3-4 hours early, and we're just you know, chalking it up in the locker room hours before practice, having the best time. And that's something that makes this team special is, like, how tight it is and the leadership we have. The veteran guys leading the younger guys, and the younger guys being, like, leaders themselves, like, just doing the right thing. And the maturity in that locker room, but also the ability to cut loose and, like, separate the stressful game at times to having fun.
It's so funny you talk about, like, just being able to hang out with the boys. I can remember in 2009, dude, like, we played every game there was to possibly play. We ended up winning it all. We partied our butts off there in Omaha. We come back and, like, no one wanted to leave the clubhouse. It was like, we don't, like, I don't want, this is over now. But, like, no one wanted it to end, and that's that.
It's a bad
I
feeling.
bring it up because that feel, it really is. It sucks. You can't duplicate that anywhere
Right, the
else
teams
in
are
life.
never the same.
And you can never duplicate that anywhere else in life. But the point of it being is that's the feeling of championship ball. Like having guys that care about each other and care about playing with each other that much that when you, like you said, you show up 3.5 hours early just to be around the boys.
Yeah.
Like that's like I'm here just to be around. I don't have anything that I have to do here for another 3 hours. But I'm here.
It's like practice games. It doesn't matter. 6 a.m. when it's like you're happy to go to the field.
Yeah,
because the guys there. That's what makes it great.
No doubt.
Like the people in the clubhouse, from the coaches to the training staff to the guys in the locker room. It's awesome, man.
Everybody holds everybody accountable.
Well, I feel like it's a testament to obviously Jay because he brought in so much talent. Like obviously you're part of. He brings in Brady Neal, you have Travinsky, and then you're still on you have a 3-headed monster almost at catcher. But that's not the only position where it's like that, to where everybody is having to compete for a position. It feels like every day. It could have been easy for y'all to be like almost minor league baseball. Like I'm out to get mine. You know, every time I'm trying to show up and go put up a number. But instead, it's gone the opposite way. We're like, no, I want to hang out with everybody on the squad. Like he's got you all on a mission to do like one common goal. It feels like.
Yeah, and it's like you kind of hit it on it. Hats off to coach for this, but like not only bringing in talent, but bringing in like great dudes.
Good dudes.
Great dudes. Like you're not bringing in just guys because they have talent. You're bringing in guys because they have talent, but they have the piece that's most important is the mindset piece. That's the most important thing. That's what's made this team who we are. Is the mindset.
Y'all come here to do one thing.
Yeah, we're showing up to win, dude, and like every day, like coach preaches it to us. It's a playoff game every day. It's a 56-game playoff, and when you play a game like that, and you have a coach who's preaching, it's a 56-game playoff. By the time you get into those big games, it's another game.
It's another game, and the SEC trains you for that. It puts you in a position for that, right? I've always said, Omaha is where you want to be. You want to win the national championship, but sometimes Hoover is the most challenging tournament that you're going to face, right? Because you're facing some of the best teams in the country that may not make it to Omaha because they're facing maybe play each other or whatever. And like all of that prepares you for that deep run into the postseason.
No
So, man, I'm looking forward to it. I know he's looking forward to it. I'm gonna be in Hoover actually.
Yeah.
When y'all are there, so I'm gonna come and see the boys for a little bit. But I'm gonna be there. You're gonna be there too.
Oh,
Shakespeare himself.
that's right.
Yeah, well, Shakespeare. Shakespeare. I think that's.
Don't call him that.
I like that.
He's gonna keep doing this shit if you call him that.
Shakespeare.
I looked at Beloso when you texted me that. I was like, dude, what the hell does this mean? What is this?
Kane's not gonna know either.
No, he looked at me and I don't know what it is.
I don't know who to ask in that locker room, to be honest.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what it meant either. I still don't know what it means. Can you tell me what it means? Can you tell me?
No, I just said it's a little bit hard to get to the studio, right? Like there's some people come to the front and they don't know where to park and that door's always locked. You're going to have to come around back. It's a bit of a labyrinth to get here. And he was like, what the fuck is a labyrinth?
What is a labyrinth?
I guarantee you, Lloyd didn't know how to spell it. The
Oh.
iPhone helped him. Let's just be honest about it.
No, I think I do have confidence in Lloyd's ability.
LABYRINTH, labyrinth.
Don't say it now as if like you didn't see it when you wrote it.
Well, sixth grade.
So what does it mean?
Champ.
What does it mean?
Sixth grade.
What does it mean?
Fifth grade, back to back.
I can tell you.
Sixth and
I can
fifth
tell you.
grade.
Labyrinth wasn't in your 5th and 6th grade spelling bee.
Oh, I was reading at a 6th grade level when I was in 2nd grade.
Okay,
Jesus.
what does it mean?
It's a maze. It's like a hard way to find something. Like Pan's Labyrinth is a movie.
Man, you could have just said, "Oh, it's a maze."
A lot simpler.
Well, dude, I really appreciate this. You're one of my favorites that we've ever talked to because personality obviously shows in the answers, and you love the game. You can tell you love LSU, which all of that like hits home for me because we kind of feel the same way. Like that's how we were, right? And so. Man, keep doing what you're doing. I've always been a fan. Obviously, I've known you for a few years. Your sister used to come get spray tans for my wife.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, man, I am a fan of yours, and I'm looking
Mikey
forward
just
to watching.
got one.
Yeah,
Spray
can you
tan.
tell?
Yeah, it looks good for the camera.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the year pans out. Obviously, I have no doubt in my mind that y'all going to be where y'all need to be. But, man, anytime you want to come back on, we'd love to have you back on. So we may have you back on.
I love it, man.